Hi, this is Melanie DewBerry. Thank you so much for watching these videos. I always tell you that I really appreciate your comments. Let me know that you're out there. Let me know if you have thoughts. Josh, my videographer, who you can't see, always tells me or reminds me that I never know for sure what I'm going to say. You think I would script these, and occasionally I have an inkling of what I want to say, but oftentimes it's just in the moment. It's as though I'm praying to hear you and what you need to hear from me. So I thought I would talk a little bit about where are you going. So this is 2017, and this is October 2017, and I'm in the United States, and there's so much happening in the world. I say that, I've said that in many videos. There's so much happening in the world, and I want to know, where are you going with it? Are you getting overwhelmed? And I talked about in previous videos, one video in particular was about, creating your own sanctuary and making a place for your sanctuary. So this is a bit of a segue from that. I want to know, where are you going? Do you know where you're going with everything that's happening in the world? Are you getting yourself overwhelmed? Are you pulling out and pretending like it doesn't exist? Are you trying to take it all in and acting? Are you giving people money and throwing money at it? None of these things are wrong or bad, okay? But I want to talk to you about staying whole, about staying in you, and to really check into your perspective about where you are in the world, what's happening in the world, and how you're responding or reacting to the world. If you're feeling an oversense of sadness or, sadness. And I want to see if I can support you in these times, because no time has been like this time. And you could say that every few years, no time has been like this time. Social media, I'm a big part of social media world. I have this Facebook fan page. I have my own personal page. Instagram and all the other things, which I'd love to see you on Instagram. But we have to remember that social media is really just about 10 years old, if even that. Barely 10 years old, some of them, right? And it can feel like a necessity, like we have to be on, we have to pay attention, or no, not going to do that. I'm not doing that Facebook. I'm not doing that. Right? And so some of us resist progress and then technology and the things as we move forward. And some of us plunge deep in, thinking that's the only way we can congregate, we can meet, we can understand, we can learn. We have to remember this is a new technology, and that so many of us on this new technology are new to this planet, meaning that they're young, which is wonderful, because they'll understand best how to use it and interact with it for the most part. I bring that up because the social media, it's kind of like the billboards you see on the freeway when you're driving. It's always there, it's hitting you at a very subconscious level. And so I just want to make sure you know who you are and where you're going. Because if not, these subconscious conversations that are happening, like the billboards on the freeway, are getting into your mind. They're getting into your psyche, into your sense of self, and they are quietly but fervently reorganizing how you see and interact with the world. And I don't know if you can hear my dog in the background, but if you can, just know that she's okay. She's just unhappy that she's not here with me. So I wanted to just point to a chapter in my book, The Power of Naming. I've showed you this book before. And I thought this chapter, which is chapter 10, it's toward the ends, would be really helpful for you. And you don't need to buy the book, but I want you to, and it's on Amazon. But this chapter is about declaring yourself and writing your manifesto and vow. The manifestation is about writing your beliefs. I am, or I believe in. And it's literally verbally, meaning verbs, about what you believe, who you are, and what you believe you're here to do into the world, be into the world. And it's a declaration of self. The manifesto is really for you. It's kind of like, the reminder on the wall of, this is who I am. This is what I believe. So for example, my manifesto would say something like, I believe I'm here to bring people home. I believe in dark chocolate with sea salt and cowboy boots every single day. I believe in humility. I believe in wild abandon and laughter. I believe that the tree people, the standing people, are actually my ancestors, and I congregate with them often. And because I know my manifesto literally by heart and soul, I remember who I am when all this information, all these stories, some of them quite enriching and quite compelling and funny, some of them quite sad, and some of them quite argumentative. And so all of that can put you in the blender of life. I want you to remember where you're going and who you are. So I encourage you to just write a 10-bullet manifesto of I believe or I am. Make it really simple so that you remember, and to recite to your own psyche, to your own soul of who you are when you're out in the world. To remember so that you be the person that you know yourself to be, and that you don't get swept up in the undertow of what you think is happening in the world. Because what's really real is not that what's happening in the world isn't real, because what happens in the world changes all the time, right? It just gets rearranged, right? But that you remember solidly who you are, regardless of how the background in your life is being changed, right? So that you constantly honor what you know to be true about you. And then there's the vow. And the vow, I labeled it a vow because for me, it really is the vow of your majesty, your divinity within. It's the vow you're going to honor in life. It's one sentence statement about what really home is for you. So that one vow that speaks to who you are in the world, unnegotiated, uncompromised. I've used those words before in other videos. It is the one place in you that you bow to and you honor, regardless of the craziness in the world. I'm asking you to take that on, and if you'd be willing to share it on the Facebook fan page, I would love that. I'd love to see your examples as a remembrance of who you are, to call yourself home when all the webbing of the World Wide Web wants to keep you stuck, right there in the web. So the master spider can kind of confuse you. I'm saying that because for me, I know that I easily get sucked in too. There's so much conversation around racism, relevant conversations around racism and white privilege. And then there's, what's going on with the floods and the tornadoes and the volcanoes. And I live in California, and we're having horrible fires, just like many other states have had over time. There's a lot of destruction happening right now. And as uncomfortable as it is, and I know, like that we as Americans, we're the youngest continent on this planet. And as youngsters, we're really our teenagers in the realm of our elders like Africa and China and other continents. We, like most youngsters, like most teenagers, we want to have fun. We don't want to participate in sorrow. We want to ignore sorrow, and we want to ignore pain. We want to take pills for it. We drink for it. We eat for it. We have sex around it. We pretend that we can all be love and light and everything's great. And the truth of the matter is there's a lot of destruction. And there's sorrow to be felt, without a doubt. But I want to be very clear that feel the sorrow. Have compassion for the world, your neighbors, your family, your friends, yourself. But do not lose yourself into the sorrow. Feel the sorrow so that you can be present to it and respond and interact with it. Not so any emotion, whether it's sorrow or elation. This is how people end up in sexual relationships that they regret later, as they get so excited that they get swept up into the moment and they give themselves without really thinking about it, right? And sorrow has the same experience. You can give yourself to that. Hate, anger, any of these states have the same experience. And so I'm asking you to absolutely pay attention to sorrow. Don't be afraid to go into the pain. We have to. This is what it is to be emotionally and spiritually mature. But go into it knowing where you are, what your vow is, what you believe who you are in relationship to this pain, and therefore what you should be or do in relationship to what's happening in this world. Don't lose yourself. Let the current situations inform you, and then let yourself be informative in the world based on what you believe is true and what your vow is. Sometimes absolute certain death has to happen to our identities, to us, to our bodies, to our way of beings, in order for something new to come forward. It's not always the most pleasant experience, but it is part of the experience. We can't ignore it. We can't avoid it. We can't quote it and light and love it away, but we don't have to be taken under the tsunami with it. Stay grounded, stay present, stay in community, stay in love, and feel the sorrow and the sadness, but stay in who you are. That's all I have for today. Thank you for being with me. Ehe matakiase.